Welcome back to the YouTube channel. I'm so excited to sit here and actually record something. It's been such a long time. Since it's 2026, I have such a different vision for what I want to do, what I want my business to look like, also what my mission is in the world. And the reason that I'm filming this again is because I got so inspired yesterday by two women. And I kind of want to talk about that. So, yesterday I was listening to the podcast from Emma Grede, who was interviewing Mel Robbins. And this is going to sound a little crazy, but I've never heard Mel Robbins speak on a podcast. I know she exists. I know that she's like the number one female speaker everywhere. And she has this amazing book about the let them theory. I just never read that. I've never heard her speak. So, this was like the first time. And I was just very intrigued by the whole conversation because most of the time when I look at successful business owners, I see these driven boss babe ladies, which I think is a very beautiful thing. It is just not something that is always aligned with who I am. I love to inspire people. I love intimate, deep conversations. I love to be emotional and vulnerable with people. And just hearing Mel Robbins speak the way that she does and her mission and the reason why she started speaking in the first place, how many people she wants to inspire, and that she was even getting emotional on the podcast, the way she articulate her words so well. And it was all feeling like this big warm hug from an older sister. That's almost what it felt like because she's obviously way older than me. I could be her daughter, literally. It just felt so beautiful and it made me feel so seen. It was healing. It was just a beautiful conversation and packed with a lot of different tips also for business, but in a way that only she could do it. And when she was younger, she had a radio show that she was listening to. I think it was with the speaker Delilah. I cannot word for word tell you what she was telling about that. But when she heard Delilah speak on the radio show, how she would heal people, how she would just make people feel seen, and that Mel Robbins heard that and she felt a certain way about that. That she was like, this is what I meant to do with my life as well. And when I was in the coaching space, and I was coaching women to start a business, to start making money online, to like change their lives. It wasn't that I truly loved the part of them making money and that they had results. That was nice. It was beautiful. Like they were able to build a different life for themselves and I loved that. But what I loved even more was all those intimate conversations that I would have with them where we would really sit down with each other and just really uncover what they're feeling, why they're feeling this way, how we can fix that. And I remember all these conversations on the couch, holding each other's hands and just like laughing and crying together. Like it makes me emotional. Or when I was hosting one of the events, one of the girls that still hold dear in my heart, we were sitting in the closet having like a beautiful, intimate conversation about things that are happening in her life that wasn't like very nice, but like those conversations and that I can just relieve their pain, their suffering, put a smile on their face again, make them feel seen in a world where, yeah, people tend to overlook how people feel and to see the person in front of you as a real human being. We tend to forget that that's the case. And especially now with social media and going viral, and even I sometimes get into this rat race of content, putting it out, just like posting every day, be consistent, that there's no real deep meaning behind what I'm putting out there. Sometimes when I post, I'm just like, is this 100% me? Is this really what I want to share with the world? I don't know, but it works and it does inspire people. Like I do get messages that they feel inspired, and that is what warms my heart. While I'm getting those messages that people feel inspired by what I'm doing or saying, I see my Instagram followers going down and down and down. And I'm just like, you know what? Who cares? I want to build a real impact. So that podcast episode with Mel Robbins was an eye opener for me. I was like, wow, okay, I have to follow what feels good for me. And sometimes you just do something random in your day where you get inspired, you get this little inkling in yourself. It is a sign that you have to do something with this. This is something that has to be part of your life. And she was talking in the podcast as well. By the way, this is not a video all about the podcasts. This is like an intro, but this is why I love YouTube videos because I talk a lot and you cannot put that into a 1 minute video. So she was also talking about when you look at someone and you maybe feel envy or jealousy, or even like you feel inspired, is because something in that person or something that this person is doing is showing you what you could do as well and where your heart is leading you. Because sometimes you look at someone and they achieve something amazing and great, but you don't feel a certain way about it. You don't feel like inspired, you don't feel jealous or envy, is because that is not really for you. But when you see someone that has something that you want, you feel some type of way, you have to learn how to pay attention to that, because in that, your body, your heart, your mind is telling you that this is something you have to do with your life as well. And just hearing her speak and her journey to become the speaker that she is today, and her mission that she want to make an impact on people that are starting over, that are starting from scratch, they're trying to figure things out, they just want to feel seen, they want to feel heard. That was my first sign. And then yesterday, the second thing that happened, my favorite artist of all time, Madison Beer, dropped her album. But you know what inspires me about her and why I love her? Like, I'm not a person that gets obsessed over artists and famous people. Like, I can have respect for someone and feel inspired by their work ethic and everything that they've built, but I don't get obsessed over people. I also don't really care to meet famous people. It's just not something that, no one is greater than God. So there's no way that I look up to someone so much that I'm obsessed with them. But someone that I have immense respect for in a day and age today where the music industry is the way that it is, I love Madison Beer. And let me tell you why. She is a true artist. And I don't mean an artist in a way that, she's a singer, so she's an artist making music. No, like, she is a creative artist. And I am so mind blown every single time when she drops a music video, when she does her concerts, when she drops an album, how she's able to turn her creative direction and vision that she has for what she wants to create, and she turns it into something real, something so creative. And in a world where people are just making the same type of music and the same type of music videos, back in the days, the music videos of artists was a story they were telling. It was like a mini movie, and I always loved it. Nowadays it's just like singing and dancing. I love it too. Like, don't get me wrong, like, it suits the vibes and it works. But Madison Beer, if you've ever watched her like music videos, it is a work of art. And she doesn't just drop music randomly, has 100 albums. No, I think in the last 6 years, she has 3 albums. And every single album is crafted with so much intention and creativity and love and intention. And that inspires me so much in a world where everything is mass production and just to put something out there. I truly respect her creative vision. And I just had to have like a moment with myself yesterday and also this morning to reflect on what I really want to do with my voice, with my platform, with the things that I have going on in my head. I've always known that I want to inspire people. I want to make an impact on people, not because I am amazing and great, but I want to make an impact on people's hearts. And it always makes me emotional. You know how beautiful it is in life when you truly start to understand your purpose? Understand your purpose in a world where everything is about making money and recognition and success. And I have been a big part of that, because for the last 7 years, I've built different businesses, and most of them were created because I wanted to make money. I wanted to be free. I wanted to be rich. I wanted to have the lifestyle that I saw when I was younger from these girls traveling the world, making all this money, super happy, not working a job, have all this freedom. I wanted that. I wanted that so badly. That's why I started my first business when I was 18 in 2018. It was the start of everything. And the last business that I just quit back in 2025 was the business that made me all this money, the freedom. I was traveling every single month. I moved to a new country. Like, it was my biggest dream. But in reality, all it was about was recognition, external validation, making money. So the business model that I was in was network marketing. And I think if you hear that and you know what the business is about, that you probably think, I would have never expected that she would be in network marketing. I loved it. I loved the part where I was able to work with people, but it was always about the money, the ranks, the chasing, validation, and all this stuff that I realize right now is just not important. is just not important because I had all the money, I had the rank, I had the title. I was feeling so empty and drained. And the more money I made, the higher I went, the bigger my team was, the bigger my recognition was, the emptier I felt. How is that? How is that possible when everyone in this world is telling us that that is exactly what we need to be happy? And it's not. It is not. You know what makes me happy? And I know that it will make you happy as well when you discover this for yourself, is finding out what your purpose is. What makes you so happy to do? What do you love? What are you passionate about? What are you good at? Maybe like you're 10% better at this certain skill than anyone else that you know, and people come to you about it and ask questions about it, and you love talking about it. Like you can talk about this for hours and hours and hours. I call this a passion. And if you combine that by focusing on other people, how can I serve and help other people? That combination, I call that a purpose. And I know there's a lot of people that interpret a purpose in so many different ways, but I see something that you're naturally gifted at and you use that to make an impact and help other people. That is your purpose. And my purpose is my heart, my voice, my words, the way I can understand people, the level of understanding I have about other people on an emotional, deep level that I sometimes cannot even explain. I can just feel what you're feeling. I can just imagine what you're going through. I can put myself in your shoes so deeply that I can talk with you for hours about what you're feeling. And I can feel the pain and the anger and the sadness and the happiness even so deeply in my soul. And as someone who grew up with a hard time really articulating my emotions and having a hard time and always feeling like I was too much because I felt too much and I always wanted to talk about everything. Right now, that is my biggest strength. And I never realized that until I was in network marketing and talking to the women that I was working with and just like having those conversations. I always heard, don't be a therapist with your people. Don't have endless calls with them. Just get them to work and get them and help them to make money. But what I loved, and that's why I kept doing it, is meeting with people one-on-one in person, spending the whole day with them or even an afternoon with them, just talking and really going deep. Not like, hey, how are you? I'm good. Oh, nice. Okay, let's get to work and work on your goals together. No, like I was like, how are you? How is everything? How is your family? How is your relationship? How is your relationship with yourself? How are you really doing? That is what matters for me, and that is my purpose. And this is why I want to make these videos on social media, because Mel Robbins and Madison Beer what an odd combination, by the way. They both reminded me of intention. And despite of how this world operates, that you go after what you want and what you truly want to do in your life. That no matter what comes your way, if there's an opportunity to start a business, make money, but it doesn't align with your mission and with your vision, don't do it. Just don't do it. There's like a decision I have to make because there's an opportunity that came in my lap this year, which is very similar to what I did last year. And part of me was very excited, of course, because there was a lot of money to be made in this opportunity. I don't want to talk about it in details because I do really believe in this opportunity. I think it's really good. It's just not something I think will be for me. Because on the one hand, I will go back to this mentality that, oh, I'm going to make so much money with this. It's going to be so good and amazing. And you know what? I can already envision myself building this lifestyle for myself. And then on the other hand, I think about my mission again. I think about, I want to make an impact. I want to make people feel seen and heard. Because I've been someone who was misunderstood my whole life. I was someone that wasn't seen and wasn't heard for a very long time, to the point that I was very scared to voice my opinion because I was scared that I couldn't fit in with other people that I was friends with, that I was in school with. I wanted to fit in so badly, and I knew that I was different from everyone else because of how I feel, my emotions, how deep I went, how deeply I think about life. All those experiences brought me to want to help other people as much as I can. Whenever you have these two things beside each other, right? You have this goal, you want to become successful and build this beautiful life, but then on the other hand, you have your mission and what really is on your heart, and you have this constant war between the two of them. If you're listening to this and you're going through that, that is so valid, that is so normal, especially in this world where we see so much of other people's lives. We hear so many advices out there about how to live a life, how to do XYZ. This is the only way that you can be happy. Those type of videos, that's all people care about. And I think in 2025, my heart and eyes got opened by my faith. If you're not a believer, that's completely fine, by the way. I just gonna speak from my experience. Because of my faith, I realized there are bigger things than money. And I feel like chasing money, despite if you're a believer, yes or no, is like chasing something that is outside of yourself. Because every time you make money, you're happy. Every time you lose money, you're stressed, you're anxious, and you're not happy anymore. That was basically story of my life. Story of my freaking life. Every time I make money, I'm happy. Every time I lost money, spend money, don't have money anymore, not enough to pay for my rent, etc. That was literally beginning of my 20s when I was living in Amsterdam. Stress, stress, stress. Relationship broken because of money, because I was working with my best friends as clients. They wouldn't pay me, or there was miscommunications. Money is a beautiful tool to build a beautiful life, but when I'm chasing money and recognition and external validation and want people to like me, that is such an empty existence to live. And because I really focused on my faith, I realized there's nothing greater than God. There's nothing greater than him. There's nothing greater. So me putting this money on a pedestal as something to worship, to chase after, to long for, just made me not feel happy. What made me happy is putting my focus not on myself, on the things that I cannot control. I'm gonna put my focus on my input, what I want to put out in this world, what I want to give to the people around me. If someone is sad and just one little smile from me and a hi or a compliment can make their whole day. If you're able to give back to the world, I know that you're rich. And back in the days, everything about life before social media and before we even had phones, everything was about community. I remember when I was younger, when I was living in my hometown in Netherlands, I remember when we were younger, we didn't have phones. We just had a like a house line, you know, like a physical phone in the house people had to call to reach someone in the house. That was actually so fun. I wish I could go back to that era, honestly. But I remember that our whole little neighborhood was organizing so many cute community events. We had so many fun activities all summer, and it brought the people together. And the more I grew up, the more we had our phone, the more isolated I felt in my neighborhood, because people didn't start to talk to each other anymore. Like, I always knew all my neighbors. I was friends with a lot of people in my neighborhood. Like, I loved my neighbors. Even to this day, they still live next to us. And I always went to their house and take care of their dogs. I would love to like walk their dog. The older I got, the more the phone got involved in our lives, the less community I felt. I never spoke to my neighbors again. No more community events in the neighborhood. Nothing. The events that we would do in our little town don't happen anymore. And it just makes me so sad. It makes me so sad because all we think about now is just working and recognition and success. And while that can be a beautiful thing, can bring you a lot of things, but the most important thing is love and caring for each other and community. That is something I really had to learn, because now that I moved also to a whole new country where I don't speak the language, I don't have friends, I don't have family here, I just have me and my boyfriend and my little puppy, you start to feel very alone and you start to realize how important it is to have people around you. Yeah, having a purpose in your life is the most beautiful thing to have. And then no matter what life throws at you, any hardships or maybe distractions, if you just go back to your mission and why and what is it that I wanted to do in this world? How can I make this world a better place? I think that is a beautiful thing. That's what I also heard on the podcast yesterday. I think Emma said that some people in life, they go through life and they just pass the time. They just are in automatic mode. They just go to their jobs, do this, do that. There's no intention behind what they're really doing. They're just passing the time. And she was talking about what a waste that is of your precious life, of your precious years that you have, that we get to experience this world where you just pass the time. And you don't have to do something great, but how can you make this world a little bit better? Because what else is the point of life? What else is the point of life if you don't think and reflect on the fact of how you can make this world a little bit better? And for me, when I asked myself this question, what came forward for me was healing people, taking care of people, make someone feel seen and heard. That is what I want to do. Those conversations that maybe for someone they think she would have never remembered this conversation that we have, I do. I do, because it also has a very dear place in my heart. And sometimes I still go to events of the company that I used to work with and the girls that I used to coach and help. Even though I'm not active in the business anymore, they still come to me and ask me for advice. I have girls coming to me with so much weary on their heart, crying, feeling sad. Because I could feel that, I could really touch on that. They could really let their emotions out and just feel safe enough to cry with me, talk with me, be honest with me. I think that's the greatest gift in life. And that is my mission, and that's why I wanted to make this video, because I want to do that. And I encourage every single person that is watching this. This is not just me talking about, my journey and my purpose. This is me as an encouragement for you to figure that out for yourself as well. What is your purpose? What is something you're good at that you love talking about that makes you so happy and you can help people with that? How can you make this world a little bit better? And I'm just already so in love with this new year, 2026. Like, I'm genuinely so happy that 2025 is over. 2025 wasn't a very easy year for me, and I think for a lot of people was not an easy year. I'm just excited to build the life that I'm meant to live in 2026. I feel like this is the year where a lot of you guys who are watching this are gonna build that, and I hope that we can do it together. 2025 was definitely a year of a lot of letting go of this version of me that I was, this very driven, money centered person who felt very lonely and sad and just very empty. And now, like, I'm still not where I want to be. I'm building myself back up from scratch, and I am enjoying that process so much. I feel so filled with love. Even though I still don't have any friends here, I feel whole again and filled with love and excitement for this year, excitement to see so many people grow, excitement to see where I will be. Yeah, this year is all about disciplined creation. You're gonna hear me talk about this probably all the time because I made a promise to myself for this year that I'm not gonna let my dreams and my ideas go to waste. I am going after what I want to do in a way that always supports my vision, what I really want to do with my life. So for this year, I'm going to build my personal brand. I want to make these videos for you guys. Just let me know what you guys want me to talk about. Anything that's on your heart that I can make a video about, I would love to. And also build my business, House of Creation, because that has been a dream of mine since I was a teenager. I've always been obsessed with planning and organization and just like making systems and structures. Like, I love that. So we're going to be building more of that. I have a very cool idea for House of Creation to turn it into a physical product brand and beautiful products that I want to create that can really help creators and become more intentional with your life. Oh, it's just something I do for many, many years since I was literally 12, 13 years old, going to high school. I want to bring that into the world and, yeah, help women to really reconnect with themselves, starting over from scratch in a beautiful way, not in a way that you are too late, that you're behind, because you're not. You're not. If you're in your 20s, if you're in your 30s, your life is just beginning. And I think it's a very scary thought that we're getting older. But you know what? When I listened to the podcast with Mel Robbins and that she lost everything when she was 47, and look at where she is at 67. It's crazy because she follows her purpose and what she loves and what she wants to bring into this world. And I think that's more important than being a millionaire before you're 30. Just something to think about. It is more important to see life as a lifelong journey of growth, becoming more of who you truly are, not more of anyone else, any other person that you look up to, that you become more like them, or that you have to chase certain things, or that you constantly feel like you're behind, or also not wanting to take the risk for your dream life. You have so much time. You have so much time as long as you every day you intentionally spend your time and intentionally think about how you can make this world a more happier place. This is my audition tape to make social media feel like a comfort place again. I think I'm scrolling way too much on social media and it's kind of rotting my brain a lot in so many ways. I miss the videos where we can just have like a one-on-one chat, just like feel comforted, and a place where we can turn to when we feel a little bit discouraged and we feel a little bit drained from all the perfect images that we see on social media. And I am also part of that. I have to be honest, sometimes I post beautiful, perfect pictures and videos. Well, I want to do more than that. One video at a time, that we just become the best version of ourselves, that we build the life that we've always dreamed of, and that we can start from scratch without feeling stressed or drained or like we're behind, because we're not. Okay, we got this. Thank you for listening to this whole video. I guess I kind of like this. I like this, just feeling like I'm talking to my best friend. This video healed me a little bit as well. So I'll see you guys next time, and let me know in the comments if there's anything that you would like to see from me, or something that is on your mind you have a question about. Can be about healing, can be about emotions, can be about yourself as a person, can be about planning and organization. I also love to talk about systems. It doesn't always have to be everything emotional, or talking about starting a business. Anything that you want me to talk about, let me know in the comments, and I'll see you guys in the next video.